25. Ning aga, yun na po nagamutakan din sa gugon. Ano, grabe yung kasulog ng
Super Typhoon Phunwang, the biggest storm to threaten the Philippines this year, started battering the country's northeastern coast ahead of landfall on Sunday, knocking down power, forcing the evacuation of tens of thousands of people, and prompting the defense chief to warn millions to evacuate to safety from high-risk villages before it's too late. Phunwang, which could cover two-thirds of the Southeast Asian archipelago with its 1,600-kilometer, 994-mile wide rain and wind band, approached from the Pacific while the Philippines was still dealing with the devastation wrought by Typhoon Kalmeji, which left at least 204 people dead in central island provinces on Tuesday before pummeling Vietnam, where at least 5 were killed. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has declared a state of emergency due to the extensive devastation caused by Kalmeji and the expected calamity from Phunwang, which is called Yuan in the Philippines. Phunwang, with winds of up to 185 kilometers per hour, 115 miles per hour, and gusts of up to 230 kilometers per hour, 143 miles per hour, was spotted by government forecasters Sunday morning about 125 kilometers, 78 miles, northeast of the town of Virac in Catanduanes province, where it is already being felt. The typhoon is expected to track northwestward and make landfall on the coast of Aurora or Isabela province later Sunday or early Monday, state forecasters said. Tropical cyclones with sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour, 115 miles per hour, or higher are categorized in the Philippines as a super typhoon, a designation adopted years ago to underscore the urgency tied to such extreme weather disturbances. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr., who oversees the country's disaster response agencies and the military, warned about the potentially catastrophic impact of Phunwang in televised remarks Saturday. He said the storm could affect a vast expanse of the country, including Cebu, the central province hit hardest by Typhoon Kalmeji, and metropolitan Manila, the densely populated capital region, which is the seat of power and the country's financial center. Teodoro asked people to follow orders by officials to immediately move away from villages and towns prone to flash floods, landslides, and coastal tidal surges. We need to do this because when it's already raining or when the typhoon has hit and flooding has started, it's hard to rescue people, Teodoro said. The Philippines has not called for international help following the devastation caused by Kalmeji, but Teodoro said the United States, the country's longtime treaty ally, and Japan were ready to provide assistance. As Phunwang approached with its wide band of fierce wind and rain, several eastern towns and villages lost power, Bernardo Rafaelito Alejandro of the Office of Civil Defense said. About 50,000 families were evacuated from high-risk villages in Baikal, a northeastern coastal region vulnerable to Pacific cyclones and mudflows from Mayon, one of the country's most active volcanoes. Authorities in northern provinces to be hit or sideswiped by Phunwang preemptively declared the shutdown of schools and most government offices on Monday. Several domestic flights were canceled in threatened provinces, and more than 6,600 commuters and cargo workers were stranded in at least 86 seaports, where the Coast Guard prohibited ships from venturing into increasingly rough seas. The Philippines is battered by about 20 typhoons and storms each year. The country also is often hit by earthquakes and has more than a dozen active volcanoes, making it one of the world's most disaster-prone countries. More than 100,000 people have been evacuated from eastern and northern regions of the Philippines as the latest storm to hit the country. Phunwang intensified on Sunday into a super typhoon before its expected arrival later in the day.